When Clash of Clans first launched, it quickly became a global phenomenon, beloved for its intricate balance of strategy, base building, and tactical combat. Success in the game required careful planning, timing, and creativity. However, the introduction of hero equipment marked a significant shift in the game's dynamics, leading many players to argue that this feature undermined the core principles that made Clash of Clans such a great game in the first place. In Clash of Clans, heroes are powerful units that play a crucial role in both offense and in defense. Unlike regular troops, they are permanent units that do not need to be trained and can only be unlocked at specific town hall levels. Heroes have unique abilities, high health, and significant damage output, making them essential for executing successful attacks and defending bases. Hero equipment brought a mixture of elements to the game. Some would argue that it was a positive update, while others would completely disagree. The addition of this equipment enhanced heroes greatly, making them so much more versatile in how they could be used, and also gave them a boost to stats such as health, damage, and abilities. While this addition seemed exciting at first, it added a layer of complexity to the game by requiring players to micromanage more aspects than necessary. For example, before heading into combat, players had to think about which pieces of equipment to equip and what army would synergize best with the selected equipment. Keeping track of the resources required to level up the gear and deciding what to prioritize could be overwhelming, especially considering how difficult it was to obtain the necessary loot. Players could obtain a maximum of 1,000 shiny ore and only a mere 54 glowy ore per day. That is, if they even reach the Legends League. However, since achieving Legends League status is already a challenging task, the loot obtained could be considered quite low, given that some upgrades required cost a lot of resources. Supercell's continuous addition of new equipment to the game made it even harder to max out the gear, which could cause frustration among players. This constant influx of new items required players to spend significantly more time on the game than they might typically do, as upgrading hero equipment became a critical aspect of gameplay. Hero equipment often dictated whether a player secured a victory or suffered a loss, further amplifying the pressure to prioritize it. Clash of Clans has always allowed players to spend money to fast-track progress and skip the long grind, but this approach can feel counterintuitive to the game's purpose for some. The new addition of hero equipment widened the gap vastly between pay-to-win players and dedicated free-to-play players who chose not to spend money on the game. This disparity became a significant issue, as it was frustrating for players who had invested time as a currency just to lose to those who seemed to have an insurmountable advantage due to financial investment. Considering that players could earn about 120 gems in a good week, the prospect of obtaining 1,500 gems just for one piece of equipment seemed really daunting. Furthermore, the ability to directly purchase specific hero equipment compounded the frustration for the free-to-play player base. Although professional tournaments often use a friendly challenge mode to standardize hero levels and troops, hero equipment bonuses aren't always equalized, often leading to many inconsistencies. Like, if a player's equipment wasn't fully maxed or optimized, they could find themselves at a competitive disadvantage despite having equal hero levels. This imbalance detracted from the mediocratic nature of professional play, where skill and strategy should be deciding factors. While hero equipment was likely introduced to add depth and variety to Clash of Clans, its consequences have been largely detrimental. By disrupting game balance, reinforcing a pay-to-win model, alienating casual players, and shifting the emphasis away from strategic gameplay, this feature has arguably undermined the core appeal of the game. For Clash of Clans to recapture the magic that made it a global sensation in the first place, it may need to revisit its design philosophy and prioritize fairness, accessibility, and strategic depth over monetization and complexity. Hero equipment serves as a cautionary tale about how well-intentioned updates can inadvertently harm a game's long-term health as well as its community.